relocate to Westminster. I'm going to give evidence at a parliamentary committee about the quality of apprenticeships in the UK. Reason for being called up, it's not like I'm in trouble or anything like that. It's not a Philip Green situation. It is more about we were asked in the industry to give our thoughts on the quality of apprenticeships and how it can be improved. And a number of people put submissions in, including myself. They read mine, I had a lot to say, and so consequently they have asked me to go in and participate in a formal debate really and evidence giving session about my views on the state of the apprenticeship market in the UK, how we can improve things. I think it's a really good news story, to be honest with you. You only have to go and look at the US and see how advanced we are in the UK. It's amazing that we've now got two such viable opportunities for young people, but also for individuals that are at work already, might have been stuck in a rut, want to upskill, want to change their career, and also for employers who can't find the talent they want, but they've got some great people working for them. You know, the apprenticeship scheme gives them the opportunity to basically upskill the people they've got and take your young people in. Right, I need some porridge though, so I'm going to go in there and get some now. That's that done on this, and then have some brain power. And I'm just going in there very much with the view that it can be made better. It's good. The whole apprenticeship system is good, but there are definitely some things that can be improved. If you can run a business, you know, my situation where I've been 20 years in corporate, 16 years having run a business in the recruitment world, you can run a business where, you know, the business is growing, you're creating a great environment for people that work for you, and you're making a huge difference every single day. To me, that's the panacea. That's lovely.
But don't you actually get nervous?
I don't usually get nervous, but in this particular case, well, number one, I haven't done it before, you know, in such a formal fashion. I've met ministers, I've met the Prime Minister, you know, and having a one-to-one conversation or a group conversation, even presenting, is absolutely fine. But with this, you know, it's a pretty serious thing. There's a transcript, so every single word you say, every and is going to be written down. It's filmed and pumped all across the House of Parliament. It's recorded, so anyone can go online. If you're listening to this, you can go online and click and listen to it all. And it's also televised live on BBC. So consequently, I do not want to look an idiot. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm just going to go in there with one intention, and that is to improve the quality of apprenticeships in this country, and that's all I'm really bothered about, and the rest of it will just follow on.
Word.
Normally huge queue, so if you've come here for a meeting, you have to take this into account, all these people. So. Westminster Hall. Westminster Hall. Emily knows where we're going because she used to work here. Barack Obama addressed people on those steps up there. Queen sometimes. Yeah. It's a bit chilly. Cold.
Please introduce yourself and your organisation.
Yep, my name is Angela Middleton. I have a company called Middleton Murray. We place young people into their first jobs and then deliver apprenticeships. We prepare them beforehand. Primarily we work with 16 to 18 year olds. At any one time we have about 1,000 young people on our programmes, over about 400 employers, national with 14 branches, one branch in the USA as well. I've written a book, how to get your first job and build the career you want. Another one about bridging the gap, which is aimed at teaching staff, and also have a weekly podcast called I Want to Be A, which is a careers podcast for young people. it has to be the right apprenticeship for all stakeholders. So it has to be right for the learner in terms of their life goals and to help them along that pathway to achieve what they want to achieve in their life. It has to be right for the employer. The employer is obviously seeking talent and succession planning in their business, so it has to give them that. Obviously, the UK is seeking increased productivity, so that's what we're looking for there. It has to impart skills, both hard and soft skills, for the person who's actually carrying out the apprenticeship. And of course, it has to tick all of the boxes in terms of compliance, timeliness, completion, etc. I think it comes down to education of that employer very often, particularly if you're talking about a new young entrant into the business, and particularly if you're talking about a small business, an SME employer.
Who does the education of the employer?
And very much so that comes down to the training provider, the college, who actually outlines the opportunity, but also the challenges that will be, anticipated, and holds the hand of the employer as well as the individual who's actually carrying out the apprenticeship.
Why is it that there are so many providers that are neither not good or outstanding? What's going wrong?
I think Ofsted has a capacity issue. I think, having been on the receiving end of Ofsted, they've inspected us 3 times. Each time, we've achieved a grade good, and it's been an extremely thorough experience. They come 5-handed for a business of our size. I have 136 staff, and they each have their own agenda, and they spend 4 days, and they absolutely rigorously look at everything. That takes time, effort, money, and I think one of the big issues is that a number of providers are just not inspected frequently enough. So many years can go by, contracts can get huge, and then consequently we have the fallout. One of the things that I think it should definitely be considered is every single provider in college should be compelled to put aside some funds to actually pay for an inspection such as Ofsted in the same way that we do for asbestos in people, ISO, actually pay for that inspection to take place at the end of every year, because what I've experienced, although it is, pretty hairy when they give you no notice and they turn up and they speak to everybody to sort of triangulate everything, once they go, what you're left with is a very, very clear picture of room for, areas for improvement. And so you feel like you've had some fantastic consultancy, and it is effectively free of charge. And I think that every organisation who's on that list ought to be compelled to pay for their own officer inspection and for that to take place every year.
What